Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Q1 2025 product roadmap webinar for Regal. And Happy New Year. I'm Rebecca. I'm one of the co-founders of Regal. As many of you know, my co-founder and I are reimagining the contact center with the customer at the center. We are building the tech that we wished we had when we were contact center leaders. We found that legacy CCaaS really only allowed you to do low touch strategies where you both on inbound and outbound couldn't really create the customer experiences we wanted or drive the business outcomes we wanted. And so we saw a better way to build a new type of tech with Regal, where we could deliver both personalized experiences, but efficiently for brands. And we could do that at scale. And the way that we do that is it starts with understanding customer intent signals, understanding everything a customer is doing across your product or other touch points, and bringing that into the contact center so that it's not a black box, so that you can then automate tailored inbound and outbound interactions for each of your customers by engaging them at the right time on the right channel with the right messaging. You could add in AI agents for high quality, low cost personal touches, especially when your human agents are unavailable or when it's repetitive types of calls or doesn't really require humans to be doing them. And then build a culture of continuous improvement across your entire contact center, from your outreach strategies, your inbound treatments, and how your AI agent scripting works and all of that. Today, we offer a full suite of contact center tools to drive better outcomes across all these different areas, and importantly, across the entire customer lifecycle, so you can bring all of your teams into Regal, not just your sales or retention teams, but also your support teams, operations team like payments and collections. So today we're going to start with a recap of the Q4 releases. We'll then go into the themes, the product themes for 2025 for Regal, so you understand where the platform is going. And then finally, we'll dive into what we're actually going to be shipping in Q1. All right, so in Q4, this is a feature that was inspired by this quote: "I don't want my agents switching between Regal and their Outlook inboxes to communicate with customers." Didn't leave us much room for imagination. We created an Outlook integration for our email channel. So now, just like with Gmail, agents who have Outlook as their main inbox can bring all of those emails seamlessly into Regal, into a single interface in the agent desktop, where they can see not just the emails of that customer, but also the text messages and calls and other activities of that customer. They can respond to those emails. They can initiate or send emails through the interface that go through Outlook. And as a manager or as an admin, you'll have a consolidated set of email reporting within Regal, just like you do for your other channels. That product is now in early access. Please reach out to your CSM if you are a brand that uses Outlook and want to get access to this. Manual voicemails are too time consuming, but generic automated voicemail drops are too impersonal. So when doing outbound calls, depending on your use case, many of them may result in a no answer, and specifically a customer's voicemail picking up. Currently on the platform, or before this feature, you really had to choose between spending human agent time leaving personal voicemails on every time that happens, which is very time consuming, or using the automated voicemail drop feature, which lets you record a single recording per campaign and drop that, but that's not in the agent's voice, and it's limited to campaigns. It doesn't really account for things like sub-brand. So now with this feature, agent-specific voicemail drops, agents can pre-record in their own voice their voicemails, as many as they want. You can, for brands who have multiple touch points throughout the life cycle, they can record, each agent can record a voicemail for each campaign that represents those life cycle stages. And for brands that are multi-brand, have many brands, you could actually record one of those voicemails for each combination of campaign and sub-brand. And so it's highly flexible, and it really achieves that feeling of personalization for a customer, even though from your perspective, it only takes a one-time effort from each agent to pre-record all of those, and then super easy to drop them. And the voicemail button on the agent desktop will automatically know which voicemail to drop based on the campaign it is or the sub-brand of that contact, but the agent can always search for a different one if for some reason they need a different voicemail. My sales agents have to cancel tasks when they are assigned the wrong one. Then they have to chat a manager or agent to create a new task from the correct agent. So the feature is reassign task reservation. Invariably, there are always times when a task is reserved or presented to the wrong agent, maybe because it's a text message in Spanish and that agent doesn't speak Spanish, or that customer is owned by a different agent and it goes to the wrong one, or the task routing rules are just, misconfigured. And so now agents can select, instead of canceling that task, they can reassign to an agent and select the actual agent who they believe is correct to have or handle that task. And then they can pick a reassignment reason. This is an early access. And once we have reporting on this of how many reassignments, who's doing it, who are they reassigning to, and for what reasons, which was coming soon, then it'll become generally available. My agents spend too much time switching between my CRM and Regal to get customer information. The contact profile isn't enough. So custom objects is now generally available. The goal is to be able to use Regal as the single pane of glass for your agents, so they don't have to keep switching back and forth between Regal and a CRM or Regal and a different admin tool to get the customer data or information they need to be able to have a great conversation on Regal. And so custom objects is an idea that lets you, or feature set that lets you extend the data model of Regal and really customize it to your own business. So for example, a home services company might have contact information about the contact on the contact profile. And they have a bunch of events that that person did. But if they want to have an idea of what each of the different home service projects are that that customer is currently engaged in, or that they had requests for, they can define a custom object called home service projects or home service quotes if they just want to see which ones they put quotes in for. An insurance company might have an equivalent use case for the claims that a customer has submitted, or a real estate company might have it for the property information. So it's different for every single industry and use case, but effectively lets you extend the data model of Regal and have it match your business. These objects, as you create them, they get created from the events you're already sending to Regal. So it's fully self-serve. You just have to go configure which events relate to which objects in the admin, and then your agents will see those objects represented on the agent desktop underneath the contact information. Additionally, any tasks that are triggered that relate to those objects, when they present on the agent desktop, it'll show which object it relates to. And when the agent clicks it, it'll automatically scroll to the relevant object, so the agent knows exactly which one they're speaking about. QA managers barely review 5% of our calls, so agents aren't getting much feedback. We released automated AI scorecards into early access. So now you can instantly score 100% of calls with AI scorecards. There's an admin configuration within the scorecard templates, part of conversation intelligence, where you can define what criteria. Not only can you define the scorecard that you want AI to be able to complete, but you can define the criteria of what calls it should apply to. And you can configure that by agent team and or by campaign. And then it'll only apply that scorecard and fill it out for those calls that meet that criteria. This feature set is in early access, and it is available to those who purchase the Regal AI starter package. How can I turn all my agents into my best agent and make them available 24/7? So we released AI phone agents into early access earlier or last quarter, and you can play around with these different template AI agents within the app. If you want to launch one of them, you can still work with the Regal team to help you configure that and launch it and make sure it's successful. Soon in Q1, that will start to become self-serve. But today, the use cases that we think are great for AI agents, for example, are qualifying leads, scheduling appointments, doing confirmation or reminders, capturing inbound leads after hours when a customer might call in, but you don't have human agents available, and collections calls or payment failure reminders, and then triaging inbound calls so that they never have to listen to hold music again. They never have to deal with an IVR again. that's kind of the dream of some of these agents. You can A/B test these agents through journeys, just like any other type of campaign. You can monitor them, on the agent's page or in the queues page live. And you can also get out of the box reports and reporting, as well as conversation intelligence and transcription. All right. So getting into our product themes for 2025, I would say that we're going to be much more focused this year. We have 3 product themes versus last year we had 5. That doesn't mean every single thing we ship is going to relate to one of those themes. I'd say our goal is about 80% of what we ship aligns deeply to one of those themes. And I would call out that the biggest change vector that's happening in contact centers, and that is influencing our roadmap, is that we believe the future is omni-agent. And that means over 90% of contact interactions will be autonomous within 10 years, and we believe the majority will be voice. And today, that's going to be a small mix of AI interactions and a large mix of, or a large share of human agent interactions. And over time, that's going to shift. And the speed at which we enable our customers to take advantage of that shift and get there faster is, we think, brands who do it faster will have a massive cost advantage and even an improved customer experience advantage. And so that's really our goal, and that's what's motivating the majority of our roadmap this year. So specifically the themes, the first one doesn't beat around the bush, very specific: AI agents. Integrate omni-channel AI agents into your contact center to both lower costs and perfect every interaction. Just to pause there, we don't believe AI agents is just a race to the bottom on pricing. It will be lower pricing than human agents, but really what we're most excited about is that it's also, we believe it can also drive a better experience and allow you to actually perfect every interaction. Not only because AI agents can do things humans can't do, like speak any language, be available 24/7, do voice concurrency, but specifically because of the way that they can take customer data and tailor every single interaction to be highly personalized, because they can continuously learn, because you can very quickly iterate them and improve them with any insights that you have. All of that, we believe, will actually lead to better customer experiences. The second theme is intelligent orchestration. Leverage AI and predictive analytics in your automated workflows for more optimal decision-making. So think about your journeys, your IVRs, your task routing rules, the way dialing works, all of those automated processes where there's opportunity for us to ingest AI or predictive analytics. That's what we're focused on here to get to the next level of experiences and outcomes for your business. And then finally, a continuation from last year of one of our themes: enterprise visibility and control. As we continue to mature the Regal platform and serve larger and larger companies and serve many teams within those large companies, we want to make sure that you can manage enterprise scale teams, and many of them, with more advanced observability, permissions, and programmatic access to the Regal platform. So in Q1, again, these are highlights, not every single feature we plan to launch in Q1, but the big ones. I want to bring my own AI agents for different use cases without engineering support. AI agent builder. So you'll be able to build AI agents without code and without relying on Regal to get you started. Of course, we will still provide AI product specialists or experts to help you prompt in the right ways, to help figure out how your agent can behave to achieve the goals that you're trying to achieve and help you measure those. But you'll have this new beautiful builder where you can spin up an AI agent as quickly as you'd like. You can not only prompt, but you can change voices and change how it behaves. You will still be able to have those template agents to start from so that you don't have a cold start. And you'll have all kinds of functionality that you can work with: scheduled callbacks, internal transfers, ending the call. You'll have access to the profile information to refer to customer information, things like that. So we're very excited. This should be around a February release for you, and we can't wait to see the kinds of agents that you build. In addition, you want to be building and releasing these agents into production with confidence. And so this is really the first feature set towards that goal, I would say. It's not the last, but you'll be able to have an interface where you can actually chat with your agent and understand how it would have responded in certain scenarios, and also see what tools it would have engaged and what data it would have returned to make it easier to test different scenarios before you go live. You'll also have audio so that you can actually hear the AI agent speak and understand if the voice settings that you chose were optimal. How do I extract customer information from AI agent calls to update Regal or my CRM? So one of the advantages of humans is they not only have the conversation, but then they do something afterwards, right? They input customer data into the profile section of the agent desktop, or they update your internal systems, or they set a disposition. And so we already have AI disposition, so we've solved for the AI agent picking a disposition, but this feature set, custom AI analysis, solves for all the custom things you need the AI agent to do on any individual call. So, for example, if it's a qualification call in the insurance space, let's say home insurance, and you're asking what the zip code is, and you're asking whether the person is the person on the title, and you're asking, how much insurance they need, all of that information can be configured by you to say, I need to collect and extract that information from the call. And then I want to do something with it. I want to update the Regal profile. I want to send an event somewhere to some CRM. I want to put it through a journey and have it take some sort of action. That's what you'll be able to do with custom AI analysis. Extract any information that you want from any given call. I want to automate certain steps in my customer outreach, but the data inputs aren't always in the same structure and the decisions are more complicated. So this is really speaking to the fact that in journeys, it's all very deterministic. You decide exactly based on certain data what should happen next, and the journey executes that. But sometimes there are problems that are non-deterministic, where, for example, if you want to send out a campaign to customers and have them respond back over text and tell you if they're interested in having a call, rather than having the customer say, like, send 1 for yes, send 2 for no, you could just let them respond in natural language. But then how do you know what to do next with that natural language? So the solution for that example and some other use cases, which I'll call out, is, or a first solution is we'll be releasing the AI categorization node in Journey Builder, so that you can actually leverage the power of AI within the context of that node. And so in that case, the content would be there. It could reference the message that the customer sent, and you can give a prompt that says, okay, well, I want you to categorize if the customer said yes or no, or I want you to categorize if it was positive, neutral, or negative, their sentiment, and then path it down those different paths. And then the next step in the journey is yours to decide. Maybe if it's positive, you'll have someone immediately call them. If it's neutral or negative, maybe you don't call them, right? So examples of what you can use this for is maybe to determine the intent or the topic of a particular SMS or email or AI call summary that comes in, so that you know how to categorize what your customers are asking about, and then maybe decide how to pad that to the right agent or how to route it. The sentiment of a customer's SMS or email, as I described, or just the yes, no intent. You could also apply this to profile data creatively and have it kind of potentially like score if it's seems like a good profile or not. So again, we're going to start you off with some template use cases that we think are common and good ways to use this, but then you'll also be able to create your own custom use cases, and we're excited to see what you do with AI. I'm adjusting the calls to agent ratio on 30 campaigns throughout the day, so my abandon rate doesn't spike when I have fewer agents online or answer rates change. So this is really referring to customers who use Regal's Progressive Dialer. For those of you who are not familiar with Progressive Dialer, it is usually for very high volume outbound campaigns with very low answer rate, short talk time, where you have decently sized agent teams. And it's a very efficient dialing method where for each available agent, you actually can place multiple calls at once because not all of them will be answered. and the system is placing the calls, the agents are not. And then the system is determining through answering machine detection whether we believe a human answered. And if a human answered, we then connect it to an agent. And one of the trade-offs when doing progressive dialing is in that time, the 3 seconds that we're deciding if it's a human or not, or if multiple people answer that call when we don't expect it and we don't have another agent to give the call to, it results in an abandon where we have to either hang up or leave a voicemail for that customer and say, sorry, we couldn't take your, or we didn't have an agent available for your call. But in that case, it's called an abandon. And the challenge sometimes is managing that abandon rate, especially to a compliance threshold like 3%, which is what you're supposed to keep it at for regulations, and constantly having to feel like you need to change or monitor that and change the calls to agent ratio. So Regal is releasing a predictive dialer to help solve that problem. Works very similarly to progressive dial, but at least for the first input, it now also helps you optimize or target a specific abandon rate. And Regal will automatically adjust the calls to agent ratio to help you hover around that rate. So it helps you maximize the calls you can do, but also it lowers calls to agent ratio if you're at risk of going past that abandon rate, or if you have gone past that abandon rate. Regal Live campaign observability. This is related to predictive and progressive dialer, but not only for them. This will also be available for all types of call campaigns to bring more real-time observability. It's really an extension of the Regal Live product that we released last year. So you'll be able to see for each of your call campaigns, both on the call, on the campaign list view, and then also when you click into a campaign, you'll be able to see metrics like how many tasks are waiting for that campaign, how many have been completed, what's the answer rate, what's the abandon rate, if abandon rate applies to that dialing mode. And that's based on today's data. So just like Regal Live, it's like from midnight to midnight. And you'll also be able to see the trends in that data in terms of how the abandon rate is trending, how the calls to agent ratio is trending, et cetera. And finally, can you delete this contact for me and this one, and is it done yet? So this is a small step in the right direction to letting you have more control over your data, but the ability to delete a contact from Regal, this will only be exposed to admins. And on the profile slide out, you'll have a delete contact button, and it does exactly, I think, what you would expect. It deletes that contact from your app. When it deletes the contact, it's also deleting all of their event history, all of their attributes, things like that. It does not prevent you from recreating that contact in the future, should you need to, with the same kind of identifiers. However, it will create a fresh start profile for them. And it will also, it's important to know, and it'll warn you before you delete a contact, that it will remove their data from reporting as well. But your overall counts through one of our top level reporting models, which is called daily brand metrics, will remain the same, but you won't be able to drill down and see all the data and behaviors that that particular contact took because you've deleted that contact. So those are all the features or the highlights for the features in Q1. Let's go ahead and take any questions if anyone has them, and yeah, see what people have.